Actually, I'm not sorry.
I want to be the fastest in South Africa. I want to be the fastest in Africa, and I want to be an Olympian athlete. Hi, I'm Alyssa and this is For the Culture. Oh. Which way do you want me to clap?
I don't know. It has to be camera speed. Is there titanium in there or something? No. Can you go through the
Yes. Okay. So I got into sports because I was super naughty. Like I was that kid that annoyed mom and dad, and parents were like at the edge of it, like hurtful. They didn't know what to do with me. I was just over the edge naughty, and they were like, cool, you have to get to school earlier. So they placed me in school when I was 4 years old, and basically in Wilhelmina Hoskins, Rivoli, and they had this little inter-schools meet. So I'm a kid there on gravel stone in the townships, and I ran. For me, it was written in the stars. Alyssa's going to be this champion, the first probably SA athlete to bring home an Olympic medal. And my journey was well on its way there. I mean, my first time I represented South Africa was in Australia at the Pacific School Games. I was, 12, 13 years old, and I ran a 12:05 on the 100. Okay, so now for people who don't understand track, that's fast. So it was the record there. At that age, like, I think you have senior girls still struggling to break 12.2 seconds in South Africa. So running 12:05 at the age of 12, I was like, sure, big things are coming. And it was a pretty smooth journey till then. Basically won every single national champs, went to World Juniors, went to World Youth Champs, went to Africa Juniors, and I did well. Either placed a medal position or final. And the journey was pretty straightforward. But then the ego got the best of me, I think. I was like, in my head, predetermined, I'm gonna be there. Like, that's for me, Even though I put the hard work in, I think I just got ahead of myself a little bit when it came to confidence. And regardless of that, also natural things happened. Unfortunately, 2009, I was racing in Mauritius and on the 200 meters. It's going well, I'm leading about 5 meters before the finish line. I fall. But after that, I think it was just, a downward spiral. I had my first major injury, which was a hamstring tear in the race, and that's why I fell. But I got home and I did my rehabilitation and everything, raced the next year, and I was slow. I mean, I went from being national champ, not even to making a final at nationals, and I was like, okay, what is this? I saw over, 12 different physicians in different industries, from GP to sports doctor to physiotherapist. Eventually, my mom's like, it's in your head. She took me to a sports psychologist, and same result. So I think it was 2011. Saw the hip specialist, and that was my first major operation. I had to go for a cam lesion in my hip bone. First person to do this in South Africa in the sporting industry, so no one really knows how to deal with it. But anyway, let's do it. Did the operation. And yeah, it took me about 4 years to recover from that operation. In that journey of being at rock bottom, it was tough. Like, I pushed my parents away, pushed everyone away, and it was like a me thing. I turned to partying, I turned to all the things we turn to help us get through, these challenges in life. And growing up in a very religious family, we always went to church. So even in that point, I was like, God, what are you doing? Like, you blessed me with this talent, now you're taking it away from me. Why? I literally basically quit sport. And I just basically gave up on the dream of being an Olympian. And and decided to figure out what else Alyssa Conley can actually do. Because I thought, all I can do is run and be fast. And now I was at this point of my life where I had to figure out, okay, what are you going to actually do with your life now? So I was in different jobs in different places, finished my studies, coming from a strict, upbringing. My parents were like, you have to study, you have to finish, which I guess was a benefit to me. And then in 2014, I started working at Nike Africa. And now I'm working and I'm servicing the athletes. I'm servicing athletes like Caster Semenya, Itumeleng Khune, you name them, right? And then I'm like, okay, Alyssa, should you be servicing the athlete or should you be the athlete? And that was like something I asked myself. And 2014 November, I was like, nah, you're going to be the athlete. You have to. You were born with this dream and this is what you've wanted your entire life. You can't just give up that easily. And 2014 November, I remember I was training at Soweto campus, UJ, with my sister. And we were like, we're going to 2016 Olympics, the both of us, in our respective fields. We made that pact together. We took a picture, to sign it off. This is what we're going to do. We're going to train hard for this. We're going to work hard for this. Let's go.
I believe my life don't be this. As I start to shine, don't be fear. Them they worry, say why I live my life.
I went through about 6 different coaches asking them to train me, and they rejected me, because they just never saw that or never believed it could be possible. And I was like, okay, so I started training by myself initially at first, until I eventually met my coach, Morne Nachel, who was like, I'll try and help you on this journey. You have a lot of work to do. You have to lose like 8 kilos. But back in the day, there was a stigma around a track and field athlete. You had to be really petite, beautiful. We raced in our bikini bottoms and crop tops. So there was a certain look. And yeah, I trained for about 390 days straight. That got me to my peak weight, where I could race of 62 kilos, being 1.76 in height. So I was skinny, but I was fast. So I had to do it, To keep fit and to go through it, it becomes natural now, becomes your everyday life. So you eat well, you train well. We train about 6 hours a day, every day, 6 days a week, and then we're racing. So it balances out eventually. And 2016, first race back on track, I qualified for Olympics. I was lucky enough to get a second chance, finding my purpose again, finding my meaning again, finding the reason why I'm doing it, not for the fame and the fortune, which we all want, but actually because I love the sport and I'm passionate about it and I want to achieve beyond the fame and the fortune. And I think that's probably why I got a second chance, yeah. Aren't you going to ask me spicy questions? Like, who do I like, who don't? No, I'm kidding.
Those are the questions, like,
yes.
Does that really clash? I want to know more about the dating and dating and sports. Let's go there.
So dating Alyssa, track and field athlete, was very confusing. So Alyssa never went on dates, no, because my sexual identity was, not really something I would broadcast during my athletic career, because I had to be and look a certain way for my sponsors and to be marketable, and to be relatable in that time of my life. So no one really, or let me say sponsors wouldn't really want to align themselves with a queer athlete. When I made that switch from track to rugby, I literally lost all my sponsors, because they were like, you're just gonna be a typical queer athlete now, you're gonna become butch, you're not gonna look the way we want you to look, you're not gonna meet the standards we want you to meet. So I think that was the tough part as well. And again, I had to change that stigmas, and I had to show sponsors it's okay to sponsor, the athlete that doesn't have the typical female look. It's about performance. And I think that's also something I'm proud of, because switching to rugby, I showed them that this is still the look that you're going to get. It's still the athlete you're going to get, still the person you're going to get. My identity does not change my performance. So I think that sporting companies, corporate companies should approach us and want to partner with athletes because of their performance, regardless of what they identify as, regardless of their, race, regardless of how they dress, regardless if they feminine looking or mass looking. I think results and performance is what we need to focus on when partnering with athletes. And I think that is the future we're fighting for. We want not only gender equity, but also performance equity. Like, if my performance is good, pay me for it. I think my purpose was to change stigmas and to break boundaries. I think that's now I'm thinking I'm discovering it now. I'm like guinea pig to push the boundaries, to push people's mindsets. Let's stop with these things that social media and reality is trying to show us. Let us rather go into things that matter. And that's when I was like, let me service the athlete. And that's when I got onto the board of the Gauteng Sports Confederation. So I serve the Athletes Commission as well as Women in Sport. I'm a commentator as well on Supersport for track and field. Also, I work for the Q Network because, I'm queer like that. And I want to service my tribe. I want to service, the minority. And I always find myself in those positions because the LGBTQ community is the minority, the athlete is the minority. So that's where I find myself. I find myself servicing the minority and trying to break the barriers and trying to get them, elevated and opportunities as much as possible. I want queer athletes not to wonder what they're doing after their sporting career. I want them to know that they are going straight into an internship or straight into the industry that they would like to be in. I want to be able to give them resource and access to skills that they need to have a job post-athletic career. With that, I've launched my own performance institute because I also want to develop the next Olympian, develop the next Alyssa Connolly who never got that mentorship and leadership. With everything that I learned over my 20+ year career, I want to help the next athlete coming up and hopefully get them to that point that I couldn't reach. Yeah.
Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry.